Happy Monday. It's time for another edition of 3 Point Stands presented by Mountain Dew. Meghan and Triplett. John Roser here with you to talk about the weekend. Let's do it. Roser, can we start with the Grizzlies? Oh, you're in
Start with the Grizzlies.
Let's do the Grizzlies because, I know it's been a couple of days, but I'm still not over what the Grizzlies did on Friday night here at FedEx Forum against the Phoenix Suns. Went with down 4 other 5 starters. Coach Jenkins gets tossed in the first half of that game, and the Phoenix Suns play their starters and Grizzlies beat them. What?
Yeah, no, and I believe Coach Jenkins said some magic words to get himself tossed. That was according to the officials report from Zach Zarba, like continued profanity in the direction of an official. It's a nice way of putting it that he said some magic words. That game was totally unbelievable. And someone as me who calls all of the Memphis Hustle games, it's different. It is because I see these guys when they play down at the G League level, and I see how hard they work. And so it's been different. It's been awesome watching John Conchar do what he's doing this year because I watched him as a hustle player. And to see Santi Aldama have that moment Friday night was absolutely awesome. I mean, our bench treated that like that dunk. Like it was like then it became like an and one game or like the Rucker because our bench is like all running on the court up and down the sidelines to each other. The joy with which they play. I couldn't believe that because Phoenix, they've been the best team. Look, the Grizzlies beat them, yeah, but you still have to. Phoenix has been the best team in the league this year. They have the best record. They still have the best record. But you can't take anything away from the Grizzlies. That was, God, everything. I saw one guy that Josh said, Josh tweeted, "Are you not entertained?" And a guy replied, "I drove 4 hours for this. Was not happy about the lineup announcement." But I was very entertained by the game. Right. And that's the game of the year to me. I'll never forget that game.
It is a moment because it's a game where you started to kind of question and started to doubt the Grizzlies. Like, okay, you know what? We've done that next minute mentality. This might not be it. You don't have Ja, you don't have Tyus Jones, you don't have Jaren, you don't have Des, you don't have Steven Adams. But to see this group come together, we've talked about it and they've said it over and over again, how contagious that mentality that they do have. And it goes down from the starters to the backup guys to even like the bench players to even some of our two-way players, G League players. And Santi Aldama, the dunk, reverse dunk, to see the guys get up and down. And I think it showed the Phoenix Suns, and I think it definitely showed NBA fans around the world that, hey, it's not just the guys that we know about. It's the whole entire group. You have to know every single guy from 1 to 12 to 13. You need to know them all because this team is electric. And so we'll see kind of where they kind of end up. It's the last week of the season, Roser, the last week of the regular season. A lot of teams are playing for something. A lot of teams are figuring things out. And then for the Grizzlies, I feel good about where we're at right now.
Yeah, no, you do. You're stuck into the 2 seed. I will say the dark horse that I'm looking at right now, that I don't even think they're a dark horse anymore, but that could come out. Watch out for Dallas. They are. Luka he's on another level right now. Finney Smith has been great. Dwight Powell was unbelievable yesterday in that win over the Milwaukee Bucks. So I'd say watch out for them.
All right. How about let's watch out for college basketball because we have the women's champ. That game was on Sunday. South Carolina took down UConn like no other. South Carolina defensively, they were suffocating UConn's offense. They could not figure out what to do. Dawn Staley becomes the queen of basketball to take down UConn. UConn, this is their first loss in the national championship game. Anytime they get this far,
really?
They win. Yes. The first time UConn ever lost in a national championship game. And the way they lost, all the conversation about the bigs, Aaliyah Boston, what she's able to do, grabbing the rebounds, the second chance points from South Carolina, and their guard play from South Carolina. We have to get up for Destiny Henderson. Career high night for her. She was amazing for this group, and it really was their defense. Offensive rebound. They had 20 offensive rebounds, 22 second chance points. UConn could not do anything. They had 8 points in the first quarter. Just 8 points.
It was her destiny.
Yeah.
And shout out to women's basketball too for having the 4 10-minute quarters. Men's basketball, get it together.
Get it together. Well, we'll be watching men's basketball tonight. We have our final two. So Coach K loses to North Carolina on. I should have worn something Duke related then. I should have done this. I knew you were going to.
Why? Because that just would make you a loser. Look at the Vince Carter. Look at the Vince Carter, North Carolina. We did it for Petey Pablo. Tar Heels.
I didn't hear that song. They should have played it. They should have played it on Saturday because North Carolina took down Duke. We saw Coach K coach his last game in what was set up to be it's a rivalry. It seems like it's like the perfect way to end a perfect story. North Carolina was Coach K's first loss as a head coach. It was his last loss at Cameron Indoor Stadium, and it's his last game, his last loss in the Final Four. So I mean, don't look. Coach K is still going to go down as like one of the we're not ever going to see.
Oh, Coach K and John Wooden, Coach K, the two best ever.
Yeah.
No. One thing I will say. So this was since Coach K has been at Duke, since he'd been at Duke. That game the other night was their 100th meeting that the schools had played. It was the 100th time they've played since Coach K's been there. Now they've obviously played a gazillion other times before that, but since Coach K's been there, that was the 100th game between North Carolina and Duke.
Wow.
That's what
it was. They're 50. He's 50 and 50.
50 and 50. If that tells you anything about that rivalry, I've been to a Carolina Duke game, and it was JJ Redick was a senior. JJ Redick and Dante Jones were seniors. Sheldon Williams was also on the team. Carolina won. The game was in Chapel Hill, and Carolina won. But it was mayhem. I mean, they're like burning stuff in the streets after the game on Franklin Street. That rivalry it's one of those. It just means more. Like it does. It does. You hear all the players, all the forward players talking trash to each other. Man, I will just say for Tyus Jones, it is a good thing we don't have a North Carolina guy on the roster. I'm
happy that he got to go. And it was still about Coach K's last game. And I know that this one stings a little bit. Look, I told you before, I spent a year at Duke, and that's when I became a Duke fan. And so I've been to Duke, North Carolina. It is just, this one hurts. This one does hurt. But
I would say now what North Carolina's done in this tournament's been incredible. The Caleb Love, whether it's RJ Davis, Brady Manick, Baycott was an absolute monster on the glass.
How does that ankle? What do you think that ankle looked like on Sunday morning though? That ankle is swollen.
Oh, I know. I know. So I mean, Kansas looks pretty unbeatable right now, but man, I've been expecting North Carolina to get knocked off for a while now, and they're still sitting here. He's really got 5 guys, but they're 5 awesome players.
Yeah.
And you could tell he did it. He did it at Cameron Indoor. He played his starting 5 the entire second half, and he did it the other night too until they, Baycott would have fouled out or whatever, and until he had to bring somebody else in. He played his starting 5 the entire second half. You have to wonder how long if they could keep that up again tonight because. Yeah. Or they're going to need someone big off the bench to come up with some production. I hope North Carolina wins, but man, Kansas
looks really good. They look really good.
The second half of that Miami game till this, oh my God.
Shows you what Kansas could do. I agree with you. I think the biggest storyline is going to be how if Baycott can go, and then are they going to run out of gas? Can they?
This is a big time game. 2 blue bloods. This is a massive game.
All right. Over the weekend, it was massive WrestleMania. Rosa, this is all you.
WrestleMania.
Tell me what happened. Tell me what.
WrestleMania was in Dallas, Texas. It was a 2-night event, Saturday and Sunday. They packed out over 140,000 people into AT&T Stadium. They could have done it one night and filled it all the way up. They did 2 nights and capped it at like 79,000. So you had over 150,000 people over the 2 nights. I did not get to see the first night because I had hustle. Then I came home and I watched the North Carolina Duke, rest of the Carolina Duke game. But I watched last night. The big main event was Roman Reigns against Brock Lesnar. They're both champions, unifying the titles. Roman Reigns won. Whatever. He sucks. That match sucked. Match was horrible. But there were a couple that made the night. One, the first match, the triple threat tag match, amazing. RK Bro, they were great. I don't watch wrestling anymore, so this is my first time seeing all this. Loved it. Pat McAfee. Oh my God. I think Devin might have posted it for the GCM account. Go find some of the moves Pat McAfee did last night. He fought Austin Theory with Vince McMahon in his corner. He beat Austin Theory. Then Vince McMahon challenged him. Vince McMahon beats him. Then Stone Cold Steve Austin comes down and gives everybody stunners and starts chugging beer. WrestleMania, I will say I'll say 8.5 out of 10. They get Doc 1.5 because the main event sucked. That's all the time we have.